The bourgeoisie cannot exist without constantly revolutionizing the instruments of production, and thereby the relations of production, and with them the whole relations of society.
In Communist Manifesto, Marx exposed capitalism's endless cycle of innovation, which began with the steam engine and now confronts its latest revolution, artificial intelligence. This statement seems to be true starting from the 18th century, when the relentless drive to innovate has defined capitalism since the Industrial Revolution. Steam engines, power looms, and cotton gins didn't just boost productivity and profits, they reshaped entire societies, birthing new inequalities and turning workers into appendages of the machine, as Marx lamented. Yet this era also birthed new ideas. When Locke declared government derives power from the consent of the governed, and Rousseau argued that private property exacerbated into slavery, despotism, and corruption creates inequality, they were reacting to a world where production was changing who held power. Fast forward to today, the arguments between capitalism and Marxism still go on, but we want to investigate how AI, the new ultimate means of production in the 21st century, plays a role in responding to and shaping these idealisms. Will AI repeat history, serving as capitalism's newest tool of control, or will it catalyze a revolution in how we think about labor, creativity, and power itself?
Marx once defined exploitation as the extraction of surplus value from workers. Machines, he argued, didn't change this, they just masked it. Today, we are told that AI changes everything. After all, how can you exploit a tool that doesn't feel pain, doesn't suffer, doesn't even think? By that logic, AI isn't the one being exploited.
In a world of abundance driven by massive productivity gain, we will be in this utopian state where nobody is exploited anymore. We will just be doing what gives us purpose, could be art, poetry, music, etc.
From a more idealistic point of view, AI feels like a dream. Machines that don't need rest, demand no wages, and never strike. If machines do the work, people can finally focus on the things they love. Art, poetry, philosophy. It sounds almost utopian. But AI doesn't build itself. Behind every breakthrough are unpaid engineers, ghost workers labeling datasets for pennies, and coders stretched thin under impossible deadlines. The creation of AI still depends on human labor. Only now, it's hidden in the shadows.
I think we'll get to a point where AI will be developing AI. So I think at that point, it will be kind of out of the hands of the humans. Hopefully we still have control, but who knows what the future holds.
The future might not be far off, but until then, the real question isn't whether AI is exploited. It's whether AI is helping to rewrite how humans are exploited. The real subsumption of labor under capital now includes the subsumption of life itself, our data, attention, and creativity, into the circuits of capitalist accumulation. In this system, even our thoughts, clicks, and creativity become commodities, harvested by platforms and fed into the next generation of AI models. Capitalism hasn't erased labor, it's been digitized and distributed. So here's the lasting question. Is AI really liberating us from work? Or is it a sleek new layer in the long history of labor extraction, allowing companies to escape the burden of human demands while quietly building new empires on invisible labor?
Just as the steam engine and the mechanized looms in the Industrial Revolution empowered factory owners while marginalizing workers, today's AI technologies threaten to replicate and even intensify those same dynamics of inequality. Back then, machines allowed capital to consolidate in the hands of the bourgeoisie, leaving laborers with little power and less profit. What about now? People today imagine AI as a universal good, boosting productivity, reducing human labor, and paving the way for a new era of abundance. But is this vision truly democratic, or is it, once again, a dream reserved for the elite?
When you have the means of production, right, you have a few people who own the means of production and then other people who are dependent on them, yeah? Well, that level of dependency is about to skyrocket, right? The human beings who own the AIs, who own the data plants, who own this massive tool, are going to be in a completely different class of humanity from the people who are just dependent on it. So those who direct those machines and those who are dependent on those machines are going to fall further and further apart.
This new wave of inequality isn't simply about access to AI. It's about control over its means of production. As Max points out, the real conflict isn't between humans and machines. It's between a small group of corporate elites, those who design, train, and deploy AI systems, and the rest of society, who rely on these tools without ownership or agency. But the more important thing is, where are we heading towards from this inequality?
There will be supposedly a redistribution mechanism, thinking about like taxes or like social security or some sort of like welfare scheme. So the surplus generated by the capitalism AI will be taxed, and it will be redistributed back to the people who are not capitalists to begin with. So the other mechanism, which is a little bit more, call it far-fetched or more idealistic, the AI technology is going to be so good and so powerful and so productive, even if you have like a 1% gain, that's enough to generate enough surplus, even for the common laborers to never have to work another day.
If the problem is not AI itself but the centralization of its ownership and control, perhaps the solution lies not only in regulating machines, but in reimagining who holds the rights to their power.
While AI's role in concentrating corporate power is alarming, the risks go further. AI systems can entrench societal biases, automating discrimination in hiring, healthcare, policing, and beyond. Take Timnit Gebru, an AI ethics researcher fired by Google in 2020 after co-authoring a paper warning that large language models amplify racism and sexism. Trained on biased historical data, these models risk misdiagnosing patients or reinforcing stereotypes, especially when medical texts or job records skew towards white male experiences. When Gebru demanded accountability, she was silenced, showing how marginalized voices are often excluded from shaping the AI systems that affect them the most. These biases aren't theoretical. In The Alignment Problem, Brian Christian showed how models like World2Vec embed bias directly, linking female names to low status jobs or ranking resumes lower for including words like women's. Amazon even scrapped a hiring AI that penalized female-coded language because the data it learned from reflected a male-dominated tech industry. This isn't just flawed data, it's AI repeating and reinforcing systemic inequality, because when you train machines on a biased world, they reproduce that world by design.
AI, like the steam engine and the internet before it, is not inherently a force for utopia or dystopia. It is a mirror. It reflects the values and choices of the society that builds it. The Industrial Revolution promised progress but demanded labor movements to redistribute its gains. Today, AI's paradox is that it could liberate us from work while concentrating power in fewer hands, or generate abundance while eroding the human dignity it claims to protect. The lesson of history isn't that technology dooms us to exploitation or salvation. It's that every revolution in production forces us to answer old questions anew. Who owns the future? Who bears its cost? And who gets to decide? Whether AI becomes capitalism's final triumph or Marxism's unexpected ally depends not on algorithms, but on us. Will we let it deepen divides, or will we shape it as a tool for collective flourishing? The answer lies not in the code, but in the courage to reimagine power itself.